The last blueprint. Victor stood in front of the factory gate. The sky was gray. The wind was cold. The big metal door was closed. A heavy lock hung on it like a dead weight. He put his hands in his pockets and looked around. The yard was empty now. Last week, it was full of noise, machines, voices, the smell of oil and iron. Now it was quiet. For 30 years, Victor came here every morning. He was a mechanical engineer. He worked with machines, engines, gears. His hands knew every tool. He loved building things, fixing things. He was proud of his work. But the factory was gone. Too old, they said. Too slow. The company moved to another country. Machines were cheaper there. Digital systems. Robots. Victor was not a robot. He was just a man. And now, a man without a job. He turned and walked home slowly, his steps heavy. People passed by. A young man with white earbuds. A woman speaking into a smart watch. The world had changed. Victor felt like a piece of an old puzzle that didn't fit anymore. Victor sat at the kitchen table. His old laptop made a soft humming sound. The screen was open to a website, Learn IT Skills, free online course. He clicked Start. A man on the video spoke fast, with a big smile. Welcome. Today we'll learn the basics of Python. Let's write our first code together. Victor blinked. Python? Code? He paused the video, then he clicked again. A man smiled again, but the words were still too fast. too strange. He opened a notebook and wrote, "Print, hello world." Then he looked at it. "What does this mean?" he whispered. "Where are the wires, the parts, the real things?" He tried again the next day, and the next. But each time he felt the same, tired, slow, confused. The computer world was full of invisible rules, strange names, and bright young people who lived in screens. Victor closed the laptop. He looked at his hands, big, rough hands with small scars from years of work. These hands were not made for clicking and coding. That evening, he sat in silence. The room was quiet. The radiator made a soft, ticking sound. He wanted to believe he could learn. He wanted to be useful again. But in this new world, he felt small and lost. Then, knock, knock. Someone was at the door. Victor opened the door. It was his neighbor, Pavel, a young man in his 20s. With oil on his hands and a smile on his face. "Hi, Victor," he said. "Sorry to bother you. I need help." Victor nodded. "What kind of help?" "I'm fixing my grandfather's motorcycle," Pavel said. "It's an old Jawa from the 70s. I don't understand engines. But you worked at the factory, right?" Victor looked surprised. "Yes, I did, long time ago." "Can you take a look? Just 5 minutes." Victor followed him to the garage behind the apartment block. Inside was a dusty red motorcycle, old but beautiful. Its parts were open, tools on the floor. The smell of oil and metal filled the air, familiar, comforting. Pavel scratched his head. I tried to start it. I cleaned the carburetor, but it won't run. Victor bent down, touched the engine, checked the wires. His fingers moved slowly at first, then with more confidence. "This is loose," he said. "And here, see this line? It's blocked." Pavel watched carefully. "You really know this stuff." Victor didn't answer. He just worked. After 10 minutes, he said, "Try now." Pavel turned the key. The engine coughed once, then again, and then it started. A deep, strong sound filled the garage. Pavel laughed. "It works. Wow, you're a genius." Victor smiled, a small, quiet smile. For the first time in weeks, he felt something good. Not lost, not broken, just useful. In the next days, Victor returned to the garage. At first, he just came to check on the motorcycle. But then Pavel asked more questions. "What's this part? Why does the engine shake?" Victor explained. He drew simple diagrams on a piece of cardboard. They worked together, side by side. One afternoon, Pavel brought an old radio. "Do you think this can work again?" he asked. Victor opened it, looked inside. The wires were a mess. The speaker was broken. But the design was smart. It had soul. "Maybe," Victor said. "Let's try." So they tried. Word spread. A neighbor brought an old coffee grinder. Another brought a broken clock. Soon, Victor's small kitchen table was full of tools and parts. Screws, springs, circuits, tiny motors. He worked with care and joy, like an artist with his brush. A laptop sat in the corner, closed, forgotten. Some mornings, Victor still woke early, like before. Out of habit, maybe. The kitchen was quiet, the table covered in small tools and open boxes. He made coffee, black and strong, and sat for a moment in silence. Outside, the town moved slowly. Buses, bicycles, the sound of birds and distant traffic. The radio he fixed last week stood on the windowsill, playing soft music. A clock ticked, not loud, but steady. People still came, not many, just enough. A man with a fan from the 60s. A girl with her grandmother's sewing machine. Sometimes they stayed for a few minutes. Sometimes they just left the item and walked away. Victor didn't say much. He worked. The laptop was still there in the corner, untouched. Maybe one day he would open it again. Maybe not. Some things, he thought, didn't need to be rushed. Not everything had to be new. He picked up a screwdriver, turned it in his hand, and got back to work.